It's the Mammoth Plumber Podcast with Tyler Williams, the marketing man.
All right, welcome back to the Mammoth Plumber Podcast. I've got with me Kyrillos. Kyrillos is really the head sales guy over at my agency, Mammoth, and he gets the best questions from prospects and even sometimes clients. And so rather than me trying to create and script a bunch of video stuff, I was like, cool, we'll just discuss this on the podcast. And so Kyrillos, I'm hoping you just bombard me with questions.
Oh yeah, I got lots of questions
about whatever comes up. So,
Yep.
So I'll let you set the stage. Like, ask me anything that you want, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So typically, because I typically talk to a lot of our clients every day, and I typically have 3-4 consults a day, as we know. So I talk to a lot of plumbers, and talking to plumbers, I get asked most of the questions that go through their mind. One of the main questions that I get asked about is when it comes to social media. So social media marketing, for example, we like to be big on social media. It helps, is one of the best ways to help your company, to get your name out there, get the name of the company out there. So one main question is how does it convert? Like, if I spend $1,000 on social media, if I spend X money, how many leads should I get, and what's my conversion on it?
All right. So yeah, you started with the loaded one. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
So the hard part about marketing is, of course, trying to track its effectiveness, right? Its efficacy. And it used to be that you couldn't at all. Like, when I started, it was 2004. It was print, radio, TV. And the only thing you could track is if somebody took you up on an offer. That tactic still exists. And then digital marketing kind of came out, and then everybody was able to track and sort of see the results. Like, you could measure impressions, clicks, all these things. But in doing so, people started to forget about the nuances of marketing with it. So when you say, and because I get this question too when talking to clients, right? All right, cool. How do we know how many conversions we get, or how do we know that this is doing what we need it to do? And a lot of that doesn't actually depend on your platform. It depends on your strategy, or it depends on your campaign. And so a lot of people go I want social media to bring me leads. And it's like, but what is social media for, and what is it good at versus what is it bad at? And do you need to prime the audience to get them to the point where they will give you leads or not, right? So with Google search and any sort of lead gen, you don't prime an audience. You don't sit there and build an association of their company to your company. But with Facebook and social media, you absolutely do. And that's the brand awareness side of Facebook. So, and I'll get into some tactics on it, but and always stop me if you need to interrupt me, because I'm going deep, because I'll just keep on running, but feel free. But with Facebook, the first thing you do when you have a company is nobody knows you exist, right? So then it becomes, well, how do you let them know that you're there? And that's the simple thing of going and interacting, posting things on Facebook. But the problem with that is you're going to let this many people out of your entire market. You're going to let a small fraction of a percentage almost of your market. And this depends on your community, but know that you exist. And so people have a tendency to underestimate the scale they need and overestimate the scale they get from organic posting on social media platforms. And this is why I'm a big ads guy. These platforms have no incentive to give you free traffic. They have every incentive to monetize you because they have shareholders. And if you look at their revenue streams, it's ads. And so they're going to do everything they can to push you into ads. You can fight against the flow of the river, or you can go with the flow of the river and see who wins, right? So that doesn't mean that organic is useless. I think it's great when you're first starting and there's ways to leverage that. But when you start jumping into social media, you're trading your time for eyeballs. And then eventually you trade your money for even more eyeballs. And you start building an awareness, right? The problem is, so let's take, this is the model I give a lot of people, is take $1,000. Okay. For $1,000, you can buy some advertising on Facebook. Okay, so let's say you just started and you happen to have $1,000 in your piggy bank, and you're like, all right, I'm going to run ads. Well, you take that $1,000 and you buy ads. Now you buy ads by CPM on Facebook typically, and so what you end up with is you end up with a CPM is 1,000 impressions, and so, ooh, hey, you're muted, Kirlos. I don't know if you meant to be.
It happened again. And we can.
There we go. I got you now.
There we go. Oh yeah, I was sorry. I was trying to talk and interrupt you, but
Okay, yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's going on mute after a little bit. But anyway,
I'm just not gonna touch anything. Okay.
all right, we had a little technical like mic muting issue, so Kirlos couldn't interrupt me. So I wanted to make sure he had that power. So
Yep.
going,
So yeah.
yeah. Did you need?
A point I want to touch on, and you talked a little bit about brand awareness and leveraging the tools that we have to get our name out and get more people to know about our company. So I think one of the main things, and not to take us a lot of course, but one of the main things is, especially talking about advertising and CPMs. So taking that in mind, a lot of times I see people not making the distinction between brand awareness and lead generation, and maybe really not so much, let's say, underestimating brand awareness and overestimating lead generation and the effect on the long-term effect of lead gen versus the long-term effect of brand awareness. So
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think of how to quantify this for people. The long-term effect of brand awareness is people know who you are by the thousands in the market, and they know that you're a plumber in the market, so they start seeking you out because you have authority and credibility. Lead generation does not build that for you. Lead generation gets you the person who needs a plumber that day, which out of your entire market might be a couple hundred people, but then you're fighting against 50 other plumbers. And so you're going to get a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of your audience, really. Right. And those are the only people who actually saw you. So that creates a bit of like people have a tendency to do lead gen and think that, oh, this is all I need to do to survive. And sometimes you can, depends on your market. But eventually you come to a point where like lead gen is not strong enough to carry you to the next level. And because you haven't spent any time building brand awareness, nobody knows you exist still, or a very small percentage of the market. And that's what Facebook and social ads really do help you with. And so the goal of $1,000 is to start building that sort of brand awareness. And so what you end up, like the way the math works out typically is if it's $6 a CPM, that's 1,000 views, you can reach 5,500 people once a day. Like that's for just $1,000. And you don't get that scale out of like organic posts. If you look at organic posts, you're reaching like 300 here, 150 there. Maybe you get one that actually cracks 1,000 people, but you also don't know if people are in your service area. You don't know if they are your actual target demographic. Like it's just traffic, and people get to the point where they're like, I love traffic. And it's like, but what does that mean for your business? You don't know. Versus when you run ads, you get to define who exactly sees that. And then you're able to like build the brand with the right people, not just anybody in the market. So, and so this is why like people can't assume that search and lead gen and LSA and Yelp and Angie's and Thumbtack, like you can't just assume that Facebook is another one of those, because it's not. Now that doesn't mean you can't get leads out of Facebook. And this is where it gets confusing. People are like, oh, I can get you more leads out of Facebook. Yes, you can, but they're not like, cool, hire me today. I'm going to show up at your house and fix your plumbing. They are usually somebody who's interested in a service, and you can capitalize on offers. You can try and get like inspection offers in, or what you end up doing is you create what's not a hot lead, something that's going to convert that day, but you end up creating a lead that is warm that you can then nurture. So when they do have a need, well, then it becomes like a hot lead at that point. But you're plumbing. You got to wait for the problem to become severe enough in somebody's brain before they'll actually hire you. So but if you don't do the work ahead of time, you're never the one they want to hire. Somebody else is.
Yep.
So it's kind of
yeah, so basically occupying that spot for a plumber in their mind, so that when the need arises for a plumber, they already know. And so one, like, and this is a question I always get a lot, and I feel like people really look to get an answer for, which is, and I know it's not an easy question to answer, which is, okay, so I started doing social media, I started doing Facebook today. When should I start seeing leads coming in?
yeah.
How long should it take?
This is like the cost per lead question, which we can answer another time. But like,
Yeah. Okay.
there's no set metric because your market influence is so variable. So you have like, are you starting from scratch where you opened up shop yesterday? Or are you starting from like 5 years in the market and you've got like 5 guys on staff, like running jobs, and there's a lot of like brand, like just percolating out into the community, and your word of mouth is out there because you've been operating, so people talk about you more. Like time is a huge factor in brand awareness itself. So on top of that, how much competition are you looking at, right? Like, do you have 5 plumbers in your service area, or do you have 50? Like, and then what's the population on top of that? And are those guys, those other plumbing shops, maybe 10% of those are really like pushing into the market, so they're taking up the brain space and you're not because you haven't been advertising, right? And so, because like, it's very, very hard to really do. And I hate the fact that this is true of marketing, but it's kind of like you got to trust the process. And I hate it because trust is something that you typically you want to earn, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey man,
Yeah.
do this, and then like take these actions. Trust us because we've earned your trust. With marketing and marketing initiatives, you really do got to believe in what it's trying to do, and trusting like the stats you get out of Google and Facebook as far as impressions and click-throughs and engagement and things like that. But you can't necessarily go like, all right, cool. You'll see a lift of business in the next 2 weeks, right? The only thing you can do with that is if you're doing such a good offer, like free plumbing inspections, like, sure, do a giveaway. This is a way to get like warm leads on Facebook. Do a giveaway, especially if you're new into the market. Do a giveaway, target the people you want, hit them by the boatload with thousands of hits, but do a giveaway that they actually care about. Don't make it about plumbing service, right? You want homeowners, so give away like a bidet, let's say, which is kind of a silly one, right? Like,
Yep.
bidets aren't in every American home. They're cool when they're there. So, but a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people hear about them and they're kind of silly. So like, but like if you do a giveaway, the bidet giveaway, like, okay, cool. I love that concept already. But like, what you're doing is you're aligning your business with something they actually do care about. And so that's one that's still plumbing related. But I'll tell you what, give away a spa day, give away like a family night out. And what you're doing is you're capturing the attention of families. And for the people who actually take you up on giveaways, which arguably could be somebody who doesn't want to pay prices that are higher, but it's still somebody, especially when you're starting out, you just got to get leads in the door. Like, you're building a list of household owners. And then you can market heavier to that list through email, text message. You can show up and knock on doors and be like, hey, you signed up for a giveaway. That might be too much. You got to be worried about getting creepy. But like, like you can start building out your lists, right? And so that would be a way to get warm leads. But I need to mention this. People forget where do you see the effects of brand awareness?
Mm-hmm.
if you're running Facebook ads and your Facebook ads are entertaining and engaging and people have been seeing your personality, you're effusive, happy, go lucky, we'll fix any problem. Also, Jan over here, she's a real sweetheart. She made muffins for the office today, right? Like that kind of level of human interaction, not about plumbing, but about relationships and people and what your prospect cares about. Like if you show up with that message for 3 months, right? A number of people in your target demographic, in your target geography, they're going to know about you enough to when they have a problem that you can solve, they're going to come to you asking you to solve it. You don't see it on Facebook. Where you see it is your Google business listing.
Yep.
What happens is the search queries on Google for you rise, and then you get more people to your website. So your website starts performing better. Your Google business starts performing better. And those are typically metrics that you see when brand penetration really happens, right? So people will take the results of Facebook and guess what they attribute it to? SEO.
Google. Oh, yep.
And realistically, it's both, right? Because if you don't have the foundation of SEO in place, then you're going to be missing out on your work that you're doing on Facebook, which is why we started bundling those together. So that's the play.
Yep. And when and you mentioned like just a few sentences ago about like when you show up to people. One thing that I find that people really struggle with, plumbing company owners, when they're trying to shoot like photography or content for their business, and when they're trying to put up social media, I talk to a lot of people that do their own social media. One main thing is, okay, I'm putting out posts, I'm putting out ads. What should I say in those ads? What should I be communicating, or what do I need to get out of communicating with the client? So, and that helps me sort of position for it.
So this is going to depend on a lot of things because we've had some interesting things happen internally, like as we do social content for people. So I'll tell you what my preference is, right?
Okay.
You should look at the target demographic, which is typically a middle-aged, like homeowner, typically female, has a lot of things in her life that she runs around the household and the family. Everything you do should appeal to her. You know what doesn't appeal to her? Generic messages about plumbing. So, or messages about how professional and reliable you are. She doesn't care. Every plumber out there is saying that. So what I typically like to see people do is go, how can I be entertaining? Like, oh no, did little Timmy like try and flush judo chop Joe down the toilet, and now you've got a household over for dinner, and nobody can poop, right? Like, just be silly about it. Now, some people will bristle and be like, that's too unprofessional. But it doesn't matter how professional you want to be. It matters whether or not you're sticky for your target demographic and whether or not she appreciates your candor. It's just like when you walk into a room, you don't go like, hi, I'm Tyler Williams, a marketer, and we did this much, blah, blah, blah. Here's our features. I don't market myself that way when I walk into a room full of plumbers. Why would a plumber walk into a room full of middle-aged housewives and do the same thing? It's, to me, that's where things have a tendency to break, is people are building their personality on social that they want to have, not what the market wants to hire.
Yeah.
And so now, that said, some people will be like, no, man, I don't want to do any poop jokes. That sounds too sketch. So the counter to that would be office life. Like, document what goes on. Oh, we're so proud of Joe. He got a new certificate. We got a cool tool. We know you don't know what it means, but here's the problem it solves in your life, right? That's another way you can dovetail plumbing in with it. Hey, if you call us, this is Francine. She's the one who answers the phone. Be nice to her because she will hunt you down, right? Like just fun little quirks about the office. Those things are great. And to be perfectly frank, an agency has a really hard time duplicating those kinds of things because they're so boots on the ground. Like you gotta throw us a ton of photos, and it has to all be custom. It's tricky. But what I see people doing is they hop on social and all it is hard sells. right? It's no relationship building. So so all it is like, call today, we do drain cleaning. Call today, if your drain smells. Call today for water heater like flush. Call today for any plumbing repairs. And it's all it is noise. It doesn't
Mhm.
it and people just they swipe on by. You got to remember, your business is a thumb flick away from disappearing. So do something that catches people's attention. So like there's a marketer out there, most marketers know him, a lot of business owners do too, called Gary Vaynerchuk. And I love the line that he has, and he says it all the time, which is creative is the variable of success. And especially as we get more and more into placement is becoming easier, it's the creative that is going to set you apart from being just a noisy plumber in the market where you're in a bundle full of 50 other plumbers, or if you're one of the top 10% who speaks directly to the demographic and really tries to meet them where they're at and teach them things and be entertaining because they're on Facebook for entertainment and things like that. So like that's the approach that I think you need to take when it comes to like, what do you post about?
Yep. And like taking a look at the approach. Okay, so this is the way we're going to communicate. Now, how many people should we communicate with? Like, if I have a city, if in my service area I have 100,000 people that are serviceable, and I want to show up to all 100,000, should I advertise to them all at once, or how many
Yeah.
people should at a time should I advertise to?
Okay. And then after I answer this one, we probably need to wrap up. We're hitting the 20-minute mark. But
Yep.
so with this, there's two components. Like you have a budget, so you have limited resources. So I'm talking about advertising here. Like you have a budget, and what you have to do is figure out how to best use that to influence people. You don't get influence if you don't talk to somebody more than once, right? And so it's like you need to talk to them multiple times. And remember, like how fleeting Facebook and digital advertising is. You're just a swipe away until they get to the next advertisement. So what you want to do is say it loud, say it frequently. And what that means is your budget allows you to buy, let's say, 5,500 impressions. And where I got to the metric of like, cool, you can show up once a day, and I mean that once a day. So I'm sorry, it's not 5,500 impressions. It's way more than that. But like what you're doing is you're hitting people with frequency. Frequency is an old advertising term that we love because if I say it once and never again, it's a whisper on the wind. It's why my kids didn't load the dishwasher until I told them every day to load the stinking dishwasher, right? Like you have to like build in the habit of talking to them so they respond and eventually they learn and take the action that you want. And people undershoot this as well. Back in TV and radio days, it was 5 to 7 like radio ads is when you reach consideration, is what we used to call it. And I think with digital, it's 15 to 25. Like I think you need more impressions within a month to actually stay in somebody's lexicon of the headspace, right? Because the whole goal is to get people to Google you, not go looking for anybody else. So they're not hitting up Google and going, plumber near me. So we typically look at frequency as a measurement of how you can divvy out the budget to reach a sector of your community. When you take your entire service area and you throw $5,000 over it, you might have a frequency of 5 if you're in a big enough metro. That's not enough to actually move the psychology of an entire market. So shrink your geography just down into the neighborhoods or the region that you want. So that way you basically up your frequency with the same budget. You're reaching fewer people, but you're reaching them more times. So that way they actually get the message. And then you refresh your creative, right? Monthly. So that's and that's where we get $1,000 at $6 a CPM gives you a bunch of impressions. And you can, if you have a frequency, I think it's somewhere between 15 and 30. I think it might be 30, might be 15, but like that is a metric, or that is a budget that can reach 5,500 people a month with your business and its messaging. So that's the way that I think people should do it. Yep. So we should probably wrap up there. That was very good though. So if you guys, if anybody listening to this wants us to take a look at their marketing, you can go to tylerwilliams.net and schedule a consult. You can go to mammothforplumbers.com and schedule a consult. And guess who you will talk to most likely? It'll be one of the two of us, but most likely it's going to be Kirilos. So Kirilos, thanks for your questions and thanks for coming aboard.
Thank you,
Thank you, we'll see you guys next time. You're welcome.
Let me tell you the tale of Tyler Williams, the marketing man.
Moon beneath the northern glow, through icy winds and endless snow. One dark night disaster came, a plumbing failure, a world in shame. Searching online, no ads in sight, no plumber answered in the endless night. The pipes burst wide, the earth gave way. His home was gone, his mother lost. With fist clenched tight to the frozen sky, Tyler made a vow, a marketing cry.
If I rise, their name shall stand. I will forge their fate with my own hand.
Tyler Williams, the marketing man, with cosmic power, he built the plan. Fire in his eyes, campaigns in his hand. He builds lost plumbers across the land. From frozen wastes to city skies, plumbers thrive where legends rise. He roamed alone through ice and stone. The Alaskan wilds became his home. He fought off bears with furious might and carved a shelter through the night. But cold winds whispered, his breath ran thin. He stumbled weak, his strength grew dim. Then through the storm, a shadow tall, a mighty mammoth, a titan's call.
I am Mark, the marketing mammoth. Tyler, your time has come. I will teach you the cosmic secrets of persuasion and advertising. Ancient marketing magic lost to time. Through my wisdom you shall rise, and the world will always find a plumber in their time of need.
Tyler Williams, the marketing man, born of the wild with a mammoth plan. He bends the stars, he shapes the sky. For plumbers lost, he lifts them high. With words like thunder, ads like fire, he turns their dreams into empires. No more shadows, no more doubt. With mammoth power, he pulls builds out. For 35 years through frost and fate, he studied with Mark, making marketing great. He grew 10 feet, his beard turned wild. With mammoth wisdom, no longer a child. His eyes burned green with northern light. His voice could shake the stars at night. Then Mark the mammoth raised his head, and to his pupil this is what he said.
Tyler, you have mastered the ancient ways, the lost art of persuasion, the magic of marketing. Your time is now, the world is waiting. Plumbers live in darkness, but you shall be their light. Go forth, fly to their shops, make them known across the cosmos.